tired, lazy, sleepy times. Sleepy times. I have to elevate my head so I can see over my microphone. Hi-hoo. My amount of effort is too lazy to rewind and pause and start and stuff, so. Nice conversion. Beating him up in the corner. Oh my god, he's dead. What? This is nice. This guy's desperately trying to. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. It can't be. Okay. I will say on the EXDP punish that, some of them are slightly different. I'm pretty sure you can still get a neutral jump on Chuns, which should be... Neutral jump punishing the EXDPs is generally going to be the simplest and most optimal conversion. That being said, I'm making myself doubt whether or not that... Yeah, I like that spin knuckle. I like that wake up spin knuckle. That was good. Nice disguising it. Nice. My only slight optimization here, recognizing the hits and the countered opportunities, is that off of a counter hit drive rush stand fierce, you can get another stand fierce, so you could have gone stand fierce target combo. I generally feel that, like, Cammy's drive rush is definitely not very good compared to a lot of other characters, but I generally feel like her drive rush could be abused a lot more often than people are willing to. It's just, you have to specifically do crouch light kick, like drive rush crouch light kick as the default. It's the best, it's the fastest thing you can do that reaches farther than her jabs and has a much better hurt box than like any other button she can press. It's much less likely to get stuffed. So drive rush crouch light kick or drive rush stand heavy punch just to get up close. Of course, it's only +1 on block, so she doesn't have a great assortment of tools, but she does also have drive rush forward heavy kick, which, you know, could probably fuck with people. This is all good. This is all good. This is all like, this is working out. But in a perfect world, we create the scenario that we want, and then we create the scenario, and then we just wait for the thing that we want to happen. So in that instance, we poke, and then we just wait, so in that instance, I feel that, like, if you're not doing anything, I don't know, maybe you were looking for an anti-air. I'm not sure what you were specifically looking for while you were waiting for that, but yeah, the ideally, if we're going to like fit two things in our brain there, it would be deal with the anti-air if she jumps, or whiff punish if she's more likely to just throw out a button. So blah. Nice. All goods here. Harassment. Gonna talk to the HR department about all this harassment. Yes. Brutalize. Fucking Death. Murder. Damn, wow. Take some throws. Hang on, I blanked for a second. I'm trying to look at some of these scenarios. Oh, okay. It was the right call, but yeah. Alright. Hell yeah. Next. The perfect from Bolt Strike, playing Akuma. It's always funny to me whenever I watch like a well-known tournament pro player like either play a new character or something, and like they're doing a bunch of spazzy nonsense because they don't know exactly what they should be doing, but their intrinsic skill still, like their intrinsic like idea of when and how to move and when and how to press still shines through. So they have all these bullshit fucking combos, and then you still can't do shit because it's brutal. Alright, let's see. It's very difficult. I do not consider myself even remotely close to being qualified to give advice on how you would fight fucking Bolt Strike. Not at all. But the only thing I can say, but even then, I'm like watching this, and my only observation is like, you know, there's an imbalance of passivity in here, and like he kind of gets to move about and do whatever he wants, but at the same time there's also a fear that if you do try to press something or do something proactively, then his fucking rock star aura will immediately just shut it down, and you'll actually get yourself killed faster. And it's just hard to say when you're fighting, because these are the guys that are so fucking strong that, like, you can't analyze what's going on in their psychology. Their decision making is not so simple that you can just predict, you can anticipate, or you can logic your way into getting things to happen. Anyways, I'm rambling. It's the only thing that I've seen that, like, you had an opportunity, not an opportunity per se, but that's the only thing that I don't like that I've seen so far. It's not that it happened that bad for you, but you woke up and you did 3 jabs. You're like, jab, 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 and the third one wasn't in range or something, and, like, I would stick to... I don't like the pressing even after it starts whiffing, etc., and I think 2 jabs is more than enough. In most instances, 2 jabs should be enough to be able to confirm, and then 3 jabs gets really dicey, whether or not it's going to be in range. Let's see, how did he jump out there? Fucking king. Okay, just like block string ended, slight delay, then he just forward jumps, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. He anticipated some forward movement. There's a hesitation and like a probably an accidental forward dash or something, and then yep. That's unfortunate. That was a nice whiff scenario, just a little bit off timing. I do like that spin knuckle again. That was a great spin knuckle position in my opinion. It's always great when you can disguise your intentions and your movements by performing an action after a certain other period. I also like that DI. I mean, if he had reacted, you probably still would have died, but I like the DI when he's low on the drive gauge. Ooh. Yeah, it's hard to tell how far you are. His fireball is so fucking annoying. Akuma's. I just say, like, that they're like a tiny handful of things. That was pretty good. That was certainly not a bad showing. Bad decision making. That, this is gonna be, some of these things, this is gonna be kind of weird, but I can't really explain why I don't like it. I just saw it and I got like, I don't really like that. It's hard for me to explain why. These two jabs, I just don't like it. I'm trying to think of why. I think it's probably like a semi-animation thing. Like, I think, why did I get an impulse that I don't like that? I think it's because on one hand there's I don't like Cammy's crouch jab animation, first of all. I think that if you're going to do a jab, and crouch jab and stand jab are not entirely the same, but they're very similar in most of the most circumstances. And I generally think stand jab works better in a functional sense and a psychological sense, because I think that, one, if you do accidentally get hit while doing a crouch jab, while you're crouching, your hurt box is slightly wider. So, technically speaking, crouch jab makes you slightly more vulnerable on whiff or on perfect parry, etc., than stand jab, or extending your hurt box. And the other reason is that I like, if you're going to like do stutter step pressure, where you're gonna do like jab jab or something and try to keep it fast paced so that the opponent, you're utilizing the speed of the lights to your advantage, I think it makes more sense to either just do stand jab or alternate between crouch jab and stand jab, because I think it's psychologically valuable to communicate that speed and swiftness and distance by having Cammy's animation alternate between crouching and standing, so that, I don't know if that even makes sense or not, but I just think that doing crouch jab makes you look like you're in a bad spot, and it leaves you in a position that I think is more detrimental to you than having done stand jab or some other option. Again, you woke up and then one too many jabs. Again, just really trying to like minimize the sequence and like try like to the best of our ability to like instantaneously ascertain like either the distance or whether or not our lights or our mediums or something hit, in order to decide whether or not to keep pressing the buttons, because we want to avoid those jabs. In any case, like, not just, even if we're not getting punished for the lights, like, we could have done crouch light punch, crouch medium, and it would have pushed him out farther. Or we could have done crouch light, crouch medium kick, maybe it would have tagged him low. Maybe we could have done crouch medium punch into Knuckle, and Knuckle would have caught him or something, or he would have respected it more. But now we're kind of low on drive gauge, and he has full drive gauge, and he's kind of on our ass. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Hang on, what was that? Okay, yeah, just the normal combo. Okay, that's probably reasonable and correct. God, he's... Yeah, it's just difficult. It's just difficult because, I mean, this is like the magic of these incredibly experienced players who have played like tens and maybe hundreds of thousands of matches, is that they just know infinitely anytime you want to move forwards and strike, and they're always yeah. It's just very difficult. And then you're left, and then, like I said, and I've experienced this when I've played, like, some of the super fucking top tier players, where I'm like, God, I can't, I'm left with a conundrum, like, do I try to play solid and conservatively because I know that they'll punish me if I overextend, and they know my psychology, like, they can play around my instincts so well that if I do an instinctive action, they'll probably punish it, because they'll probably play in a way that will punish it? Or do I try to play against my usual habits and make decisions that I normally wouldn't make to spite the idea of predicting normal behavior? Or, but then it's like, if you're too passive or something, then, it makes it quite easy for these players to just run, like, the most low consequence, low risk game plan that will eventually just kill you slowly. And it's hard to say, because you will just kind of silently drown. It's like having a pillow put over your head. Nice. Good. Good. God, the fucking jump outs. That is one thing that so far, like, you physically could have done better, and it's not just a matter of he's just fucking god tier. Where, yeah, you definitely could have cross-cut anti-aired some of these. Especially you had the meter that if you had cross-cut with the EX to keep him in the corner, it would have been good. Nice. Nice. I think this kind of thing, like this standing heavy kick into the light kick, one, I think in a lot of the ranges that you do it, it's still quite risky, because I think that if you had just crouch blocked, you would have done spiral arrow on block and gotten punished for it. I generally feel like, I think it's useful for sure. I think it's like a useful idea because they think it's their turn, but they also think that you're further away than you are, etc. But I do think in some of the ways you use it, you're putting yourself in some detrimental situations, and I think it's a slightly in some ways a gimmick that if used in that way, like the light kick into drill all the time afterwards, like, won't continue to work on the same opponent. But still, I definitely approve of doing tricky shit like that to close out a round on an opponent who hasn't seen it before. Nice. Alright, that was good. Let me think. And you had like a decent amount of drive gauge, and you had like full super. I'm trying to think of where we could have used. I don't know if Cammy's supers. I'd have to actually check that. I don't have the game open right now. I'm too lazy to do it right now, but I should check later whether or not Cammy's supers actually go through Akuma's air fireballs and stuff. And but I'm certain that yeah. I mean, the air fireballs are definitely a problem. Okay, some instances. Okay, an air fireball like this, not here. An air fireball up there, I think, with practice at recognizing the animation, or just doing it off of an assumption, because he's not done any normal forward jumps without doing an air fireball so far, I think just DI. DI will blow that up. It'll absorb it and then hit him punish counter while he lands. But But other than that, I think this is an opportunity where if Cammy's supers work against these things, that those are chances, those are ins that we could use. Akuma's EX Air Fireball is like completely fucking busted, and I don't know what we would do about it other than level 3, but yeah. Oh my god. Not dead. Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to see what just happened there. I obviously know what happened, but I'm trying to look at the exact spacing, because you went, you know, tried to go for the shimmy, but he was just going to walk back, and when we press the buttons, especially those slower buttons for shimmies, that happens a lot, but, it's just like an aspect of the guessing, because an opponent is likely to tech, but they're also likely to just walk backwards and then press a button. They're both very common things. In fact, the walk backwards into pressing a button, probably a lot more common than the opponent throw teching in this game. Wow. Another one of these assholes. Alright. I have not seen Skills Akuma, so... Alright, he does a lot of demon flip. Nice, DI. I like that level 1. I do. Damn. Nice. Alright. I gotta say, I have, like, watching this actively, I have way fewer, like, things that are obviously sticking out to me that should be improved. I like that. I mean, I don't necessarily like the exact spacing on the heavy kick or the whatever, but the overall sequence and the timing, yeah, that looks good. Damn, fuck. Akuma's very new, so I don't really have an idea of like what a good way to play against him is. I kind of sort of think that it would be if you're at like full meter, I think it's worth it to confirm into EX Spiral Arrow just to get the side switch if you're cornered, just to put him there. I don't know. I think that the more stage he has to walk backwards makes his fireball, but also his approach with air fireball very frustrating. And I will like the only thing, yeah, like it's another one of these things is like these like very super long time experienced Street Fighter players where they really like boil it down to the essence of it, where they will sort of uncharismatically and clunkily just force themselves out of the corner because they know in the long run it's advantageous to just like hold up forward in a lot of situations. Nice. Hell yeah. I'm sure you could have killed with that routing. There. It looked like some indecision on what the best routing was, but yeah, it all worked out. Air fireball. Ooh, woo. Nice. That, yeah, that's again like the most consistent thing that is actually criticizable, and it's both how you're applying offense and how you're reacting to the jumps. It's like the positions that you're putting themselves in that let them jump out, or give them the space to, or etc. But yeah, the jump outs are like the most obvious the most obvious thing. I really like this level of focus, and like I like that, you know, doing a couple whiffs. I like those spacings actually, like whiffing standing medium kick in front of his face. Obviously not all the time and stuff, but like whiffing buttons at timings where the opponents aren't looking for a whiff punish and they don't have a particular reason to be looking for a whiff punish. I think like pressing a button a little bit too far away or right at the right range is better than being too close and getting stuffed, especially by Akuma's stubby normals, because all of his really dangerous stuff are pretty stubby. And yeah, I like the jab, wait, and then wait for like the timing of like an immediate or delayed crouch medium kick, then do your own, etc. How did we burn out? Hang on. We're lit, and then EX dive kick there, and then do a delay there. This is probably totally acceptable. I actually have no idea how strong Akuma is while you're in burnout. How did he side switch again? Oh. Weird freak scenario. I mean, honestly, lucky that the DI didn't just beat the fucking dive kick immediately. But yeah. In this situation, I think it's much better if you're worried about getting wall splatted with the DI and stunned. I would just take it on block. At this point right here, before you took this throw, and even maybe after, no, I mean, if he has CA, I guess it depends. It's hard to say whether or not you would die here. I don't think you would die from a wall splat here, because the first action that you would take is the wall splat, and if you're blocking the DI, it wouldn't deal any damage, but it would scale his combo afterwards, so you would survive it. And he doesn't have that much drive gauge to abuse the combo anyways. That being said, now he's in a position where it'll be difficult to win. I honestly don't know why he just did a neutral jump there. I don't know what the advantage was. Because it's not wall splatting you or like baiting out any behavior or something. I don't know. It seems like a waste of time. Alright. Skills Akuma needs some work. Who is this? I was hoping it'd be another person I know in a row. I've seen shockingly few Ken matches, despite the fact that I think he's probably completely absurd this season. Let's see, that drive rush, what would be an option against it? It's hard to say, because you don't know what he's going to do off of it. That's like, other than just like the normal stuff that is advisable to do against drive rush, of like crouch medium punch or stand light kick. It's hard to say. Oh, he drops his combo for the kill. Love that. I don't even know if I remember if I think I suggested doing more crouch heavy punch into crouch medium kick because it works a lot. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. If not, I said that to someone else. A lot of Kami players on my channel. Oh. Beautiful. Beautiful. And the only weak point right now that I'm looking at is, like, the anti-airs. Okay, I still think, like, that stutter stepping with these lights... Not these, but, like, these... I'm not... Just the way that they were used, I don't know... Like, I don't know what scenario in which that would have been beneficial to you. Like, what like, how that could have orchestrated something positive. But yeah, Ken especially is just gonna do low medium kick, drive rush in the corner. That's the only thing he's gonna do, and his low medium kick is fucking absurd. So. Oh, I was going to explain this knockdown again, because you were talking about whether or not you can shimmy off of this. I was going to explain, it's +2. The thing about whether or not you can shimmy off of it is that when they're getting up, how they throw tech, right, is that, 90% of the time they're going to be doing a delay tech, so they'll block for a second and then hit the throw button. And I actually don't know. At previous moments, I've tried to watch, like, tons of match footage. I had the idea that I was going to watch a ton of match footage and then figure out, like, an overall human statistical average for how long exactly they wait before they hit their throw tech while blocking. And, but it's just very hard to tell that during the matches because it's, it's the input register is not directly lined up to the, what else is happening. So it's hard to say how much further into the block stun or afterwards or when the input actually registered. So I don't know the overall average or what's a normal behavior for how late they press their throw techs. I will say, if it is slower than 4 frames, so if they wait 5 frames before hitting the throw tech, so like whatever of a second, if they hit the throw on frame 5 or later after getting up and holding down back, you can shimmy them. And if it's faster, if they hit it on like frame 3 or 4, which is the only realistic thing that I could think of for being faster than 5, then you can backdash in that instance, and I think that would be the most efficient way to throw bait them. And backdash in this game has an added benefit of, when you do it on the opponent's wake up, it has an added benefit of messing with their sense of space. So, like, they might do like a 4-framer into a medium because it works on counter hit or something, or they do like 2 lights or something. But if you backdash, the jab will, like, clip you from farther away, and then their second light will whiff, and it's not a counter hit state, so they'll try something counter hit. Whatever. It's not as bad as getting hit out of your meaty, is what I'm trying to say. But I do generally think that you probably can shimmy in this circumstance against most players, especially more patient players, because I don't think they would press the tech button within 5 frames. 4 frames, sorry. Hmm. This guy's dropping combos at weird points. Like, he has some very clear, like, Ken-specific ideas in some instances, but then, like, a handful of weird combo drops, and then just some kind of goofy, unique ideas, like that, for instance. That's good. That crouching heavy punch into run step is good against, like, Lily and Jury and stuff. Not as much against most of the rest of the cast. Okay, that again, like, you know, I'm still not like super on board with the. I just don't. And maybe it's like a completely unjustified bias because the very successful camis that I see playing never do those super shallow dive kicks in those instances. They never get like really up close in the opponent's face and do a dive kick other than EX. But and they just don't use it in that particular way. And their corner pressure much more resembles most other players with most other characters, where they do their thing and then they back off so that they don't get locked down into a drive rush on block and then get back thrown into the corner. But yeah, the DP opportunities. I mean, if he had neutral jumped or forward jumped, it would have required some DP to anti-air him. Let me see this. I think you can guaranteed punish that. His light Jinrai at that range. I actually don't know off the top of my head what the frame data is, but I just know that you can almost certainly get a guaranteed punish on it. I probably just stand light kick into heavy spiraler. Damn. The jumps. Jumps have always been a big problem for Cammy. I mean, it's super, like, I would think back to like Punk versus when like two like high level Cammy players would play. You know, it's probably, I'm thinking of like the Japanese Cammies where I would see like Kazunoko versus Akira or something, and they would play in Cammy mirrors, and there would be so much jumping and so few anti-airs in the whole match because her anti-airs suck. Like, they don't. Her DP is pretty good functionally, but its value, its reward sucks. So her anti-airs are not threatening, I should say, in terms of convincing the opponent to not risk it. Her jump is very oppressive, so the mirror gets really silly. And the way that she plays, she doesn't have that many tools that will, like, comfortably control space in front of her. Like, Chun-Li, not only does she have a different input for her DP, which, as the strong Chun-Li players have gone on over time, they've actually found it easier and faster to do than the normal DP input. But, yeah, what was I gonna say? It's hard to anti-air with this character. Both because of her toolkit always puts you in situations where, like, you have no coverage. You just have to stop anything that you are doing and however you are moving and however you are blocking and make the right anti-air at the current distance. And also because her anti-airs just don't condition the opponents to stop jumping. a lot of the time. I guess now I can pull up this other thing, because this is relevant. I kind of started this halfway through, but, anyways, so I was, you know, as per our conversation about buttons and stuff, buttons, how to deal with those pesky 7-framers and shit. So I made some general rules for, like, some of her pressure and which buttons her footsies interactions and minus on block buttons can have problems with. So I said, standing light punch and crouching light punch off of drive rush have slightly different spacings for setting up certain tools. So I tried to illustrate that. Whatever, I'll make a video about it later. Cammy's options drastically change if the opponent has a 7-framer or 8-framer that reaches a certain distance. However, that covers a lot of the cast that have one that reaches that distance. 8-framers are not as bad as 7-framers. Forward heavy kick is good against troublesome medium and heavy 8-framers, or slower. I don't even know why I included this. I should just say it's good against the troublesome fucking 7-framer and 8-framer mediums. Dive kick is mainly good when the opponent attacks with crouch medium kick in response to a footsies interaction far more than any other option. So if it's like Luke with like a good crouch strong and a good crouch medium kick, dive kick as like part of your block strings, less good. But like with Jamie, much better, because by far and away Jamie's like furthest functional quick but long range attack is low medium kick. Forward jump light kick is a safe middle ground when dealing with some of these annoying 7 or 8 frame mediums. It puts the onus on the opponent to beat the jump in rather than putting the onus on you to beat their difficult, annoying button. If the opponent lacks a threatening counterpunch, such as a good 6-frame medium that they can buffer into drive rush, then Cammy's options will get much stronger, and she has a much better ability to just walk forwards at the opponent and do staggered jab pressure. Speed is more important to offense than numbers. Numbers exist for our safety to limit the risk of what might happen, but we should not assume that the opponent will react or press the right button immediately at all times. Characters with no EXDPs are much easier to bully in a variety of ways. So I mainly covered Luke and Jamie as the first 2 characters in the roster as like a basic understanding of all of this. So I'll pull this up later on, but Luke's crouching light punch. So the first thing I look at is how dangerous is their 4-framer, right? And you have to be fairly close to Luke for his crouch jab to link counter hit to his crouch strong. And if you're outside the range where he can do that, his 4-framer is quite weak. 5-framer, Luke rarely, if ever, uses his 5-framer, so not an issue. Crouch medium punch and crouch medium kick are the main threat. One, a very strong 6-framer, the other, a very strong 8-framer. Now, it's easier against... There is a difficulty in dealing with a character that has both an 8-frame crouch medium kick and a strong 6-frame counterpunching tool. There's a difficulty to that. So, one of the things you can do is you can abuse the fact that his crouch jab is not very strong in this version of the game, where you can do things that are like -1, but still leave you in stand light punch range, you in 4-framer range, but he cannot convert. If he interrupts you with his 4-framer, he won't be able to convert to anything. Such as if you as Cammy do crouch medium kick, drive rush, standing light punch, then standing medium punch, and the medium punch will be -1, you are still in range to do jab afterwards, which will still link into, on counter hit, into like crouch medium punch or stand light kick. However, if he does his crouch jab on the -1, he can't get shit off of that. So that's an instance where you can structure your tools to abuse characters with weaker 4-frame options. Alright, but then we have various block strings that will get us enough pushback that we can be outside the range of his 6-framer, but we're still in range of his his 8-framer, which is a low, which makes it worse, because it means we can't just walk backwards after we do a block string. So our options are do a sequence that leaves us outside of his crouching medium punch range, then do a tiny stutter step backwards, crouch block, and then wait, block it if he's going to do a medium kick, and then if you see an animation, just press crouching medium punch. If he does the crouch medium kick, you block it low, and if he does the crouch medium punch, you whiff punish it. So that's one option. A second option, do different block strings that just have so much pushback that the 8-framers are no longer an issue, i.e. take -1 situation into standing light kick, and standing light kick will have much more pushback on block. So do, like, that sequence I just said, but rather than do standing medium punch, do back medium punch, and then do stand light kick, and you should be outside the range of any of his buttons, or the problem buttons. Next is accept that we have to be in range of one of the two options. You know, it's like, technically, because it's an 8-framer, we could do something that's -2 and then go into light kick, so we could do jab light kick, and that'll beat the 8-framer, but the problem is Luke has both the counter punch and the crouch medium kick, so if we tried to do that and he did hit crouching medium punch, we would just die. We would just get immediately blown up, and that's the problem, is the combination of the two options. So I tried to organize this and structure it around good options for pressure that defang these options that are safe to one or the other or both of them very consistently. Alright, one option, of course, as always, is perfect parry at the timing that, for the things that he will trap you with. Another option is doing something that's -2 at a decent distance and then just backdashing. That'll get you out of most characters as 8-framers. Another option, and that's not a permanent solution, it's just another option that you have available. One thing for Luke that I think is more significant than most of the rest of the cast, I think I put it down here, drive gauge is his entire toolkit. So if he has full meter, then you should expect that he will try to counterpunch with a medium punch or a medium kick into drive rush. Which means that, and if he doesn't have 3 bars, then you can ignore the threat of his mediums, because it doesn't really matter that much. Alright, so beyond that, the other thing is that when you see he has high drive gauge, if there's not a good way to avoid getting, if there's not a good way to get out of the range of his crouching medium kick but still be safe to his crouching medium punch, I would sometimes try to, there's 4 scenarios that can happen where he's looking for an opportunity to take advantage of, like, a gap in your pressure to punch out with a medium, right? A medium into driver, specifically. There's 4 things that can happen. 1, we completely outspace him and then whiff punish him. 2, we do something that, for some reason, like, he thinks there's a gap where there's not, and we interrupt him, so we counter hit him on startup. That was 2. Right. 3 is we accept it and block it or something, or maybe we do, like, a perfect parry, we fish for a perfect parry on it or something. And then, 4, I'm confusing myself because I'm pretty sure I thought of something else. Anyways, good strategies. Set him up for perfect parries. Block his crouching medium kick at a range where you can whiff punish his crouch strong. Forward heavy kick works on both. Anytime you push him out pretty far, add a -2 off of your jabs. Forward heavy kick will beat most 7 or 8 frame buttons. Not all of them. Manon has, like, the farthest 7-framer in the game with stand medium punch, so I don't know if you can forward heavy kick Manon all the time, but hold up forward if the 8-framer in question is a low, then hold up forward sometimes when you're outside of his crouch medium punch range to make him prove that he can DP you after he whiffs. And then the next option, and this is, I think, an important one, especially for Luke, Sometimes just accept that he wants to do a medium, block him, and then immediately drive reversal. Because he will cancel his medium into drive rush, and your drive reversal will immediately knock him down. Just trust into his fucking Luke-addled brain drive gauge bloodlust that he is salivating at the idea of doing a medium into drive rush. Let him have the medium, and then just immediately input drive reversal. Now, I wouldn't do that until you have at least some information on the player, like you know that he is usually going for medium as a counterpunch, medium punch, or medium kick. You know that when he's at high drive gauge, he very consistently does drive rush, etc. off of those options. But I think that's a pretty common occurrence, and I think just giving him the block and then immediately drive reversaling because you trust that he will drive rush cancel it is pretty reliable, especially on Luke, because that's like his whole fucking thing. What Luke player has not, like, drive rush canceled a crouch medium kick when it connected? It's like a unicorn. I don't know if one exists. Anyways, so the difference is that now Jamie has some differences. 1, a 7-framer rather than an 8-framer. 2, a much, much more dangerous 4-framer. Alright, with Jamie, so long as if you're in range for your standing light punch to combo into, like, your crouching medium punch on counter hit, Jamie can do the exact same thing with his 4-framer. So there's no range at which your 4-framer has an advantage on his. So -1s at close range are not good against Jamie. So I would not do standing medium punch up close against Jamie. Right, there's some weird complexities. His standing heavy punch is really weird. It's actually really strong, but people don't use it that often because it's kind of weird. Whatever. Anyways, the point is 7-frame low is the biggest problem. That being said, Jamie doesn't have like a 6-framer or an 8-framer that reaches that far. His crouching medium kick is by far and away his most consistent counter-punching tool when looking for gaps in pressure. And so you can dive kick him more consistently than you can most other characters. Overall analysis, I put don't challenge his 4-framers, don't put yourself -1 up close. Exploit the gap in his crouching light punch, so if you have no choice, if you, like, do a dive kick and it's a little minus, wait for him to do crouching light punch, and then anticipate that he will do crouching medium kick afterwards, and mash in the gap between them. And it's a lot easier to do that against him than it is to do it against, like, fucking Chun-Li with her stand jab to low medium kick. Lot easier to see his crouching light punch and then react to it. It's incredibly hard to outspace his crouching medium kick. You have to block it a lot. Try to drive reversal it if he drive rush cancels it, whatever. If you know it happens very frequently, perfect parry, dive kick, forward heavy kick. If you are comfortable with doing it, do jab buffers into spiral arrow outside of crouch medium kick range when you expect him to do it. When you're -1 or you're -2, whiff a jab and buffer it into spiral arrow. Most Jamies don't use a standing heavy punch, but if they do, avoid dive kicking as much and respect his options more. There are not many good ways of beating a standing heavy punch. It is a very, very strong counter-punching tool. It will fucking eat most of your buttons if you try to pressure him from any action that's minus. Anyway, so that's most of my observations from that. The main point I was going for is that Manon's 7-framer is fucking ridiculous, and it's very difficult to avoid, like, do the normal, the pressure that you like to do in ways that won't get stuffed by it. Like there, you just did the 3 lights on block, jack shit, you could maybe backdash here. Very little you could do to avoid the standing medium punch there. You could try to perfect parry it. I don't love perfect parry as an option against a grappler in this game, so I would not recommend that option. I just think that sometimes you have to accept that you're going to block a lot of Manon's stand medium punch. just try to avoid getting hit by it. It's better to block than get hit by it, so. Getting greedy with gaps that she can challenge with it will probably be worse. I wasn't paying attention the rest of that round. Let's see, a DI. The overhead's are silly, and then a failed anti-air. The overhead is just something that you just have to train your eyes to by itself. Literally just pull it up in training mode, have her do it at random intervals and at random spacings and whatever, and just like soak test it into your brain. And that's really my only advice for dealing with this. Is just soak test it so that you can react to it with either just blocking it and punishing it on block if it's close enough, perfect parrying it, or DI. DI, even if you react super late at the last frame, will still kill it. But, yeah, you just have to soak test it into your fucking retinas. Alrighty. That was nice. He's used DI, like, what, 2 or 3 times on defense? 4? 3 or 4? I can't count. Oh, wow. Oops. Wow. Well, it doesn't matter. What a commitment from this guy. I honestly don't remember a lot of Manon's stuff off the top of my head. I rarely ever fight her. I don't think the stash up is real in that instance. I think you can probably just wake up stand light kick or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's not plus. Hang on, I want to see that again. It all looked good, but I just want to see it again. Standing medium punch, slight delay. Not worried about a low because she doesn't have a very dangerous low. See how fucking weak Kimmy's anti-airs are? Like, you get one, and then you can barely get your tail end of low 4, and you have to spend another 3 bars of drive gauge to get anything off of it. When you're waiting for them to, like, land on the ground before you do it, I genuinely think if you perfect parry anti-air, I think just input, light DP. Just light DP. Because much more often than not, at least in this stream, you haven't gotten a punish on it. They've been able to land and then, just block. So, just take in terms of the options that are fast, but will, do equally valuable things, whether they're in the air or actually considered standing on the ground, just light DP at 5 frames. Nice. Oh, woof. Yeesh. Hey, Manon is not like the other grapplers. You can wake up drive reversal her way easier. Her fucking... She does not have good 6-frame punishes. I like that jump out. I really do. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. They've got to do something to get in. Nice. I like that. Yeah. Mmm. 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 Nice. Hell yeah. As for the fake drive rushes and stuff, I would just like just practice more like reacting with all the characters that like to do fake ones, like all the grapplers. Well, Manon and Zangief. Most of Lily's drive rushes are actually legitimate. But yeah, just mashing out DP, EXDP, or rather, this is one area where I do think it actually like putting the muscle memory practice, maybe not muscle memory, but because you don't always want to hit Cammy's DP, you don't want to lose your drive gauge, and you don't want to side switch the opponent if you've cornered them, etc. When Manon does like some fucking medium button into a totally fake drive rush. At that point, I would say like try implementing and getting used to reacting to Manon doing like some medium punch or something into drive rush and blow it up with a level 1. Not a DP. Go all the way and try implementing beating it with level 1. I think Manon is going to try to do shit like that more often than... it's hard to say. I mean, Manon and Zangief are the ones that are going to do that kind of shit. So you mainly have to worry about them. Mm. It was silly because he just did a fake drive rush right there. Really bizarre sweep spacing from this guy. That, it worked out, but I don't like that. You did, stand, jab, stand, light kick, and then you walk back, walk forwards. You did not walk back and walk forwards at enough of a distance that it would have mattered if the jury had done an instant or a delayed crouch medium kick. So I would have put, for jury especially, with like one of the furthest 8-frame lows in the game, I don't like the exact like timing and spacing and distance of your like walk back, walk forwards, or just down block or do a delay medium into drive rush has to adjust to the character, and even then, I think against most of the cast, that one was just not spaced correctly. Actually sitting up. Nice. Nice-oo. Excellent. Sick. I I am fine with, like, throwing in the occasional stand light kick drive rush cancel. Maybe not in that instance because you were quite low on drive gauge, so if it hadn't worked out, that could have been a problem. Jury did have level 2. Against a better Jury, that could have been a threat. Because they could have put you in burnout and then level 2'd. And then run a bunch of really oppressive mix and pressure. Nice. Yep. There we go. He couldn't do it. Wonder if we could have killed off of this. Hang on. What did we get the hit from? Whiff punish, but off of a low forward. At full meter, yeah, this definitely, this one could have killed here. So this is like one of those instances where, like, this is the situation that I mean, where I talk about, where I'm mentioning, like, one of the things that the game is clearly designed for is rewarding you for knowing exactly when you have enough means to kill. So, like, having an idea of, I mean, I really do think of just, like, going through all of the combos, like, the most optimal versions of every combo, and then seeing, like, okay, when I'm at, and then having an idea of, like, the health bar of the opponent, and knowing, okay, this is when they're just dead. If I have, like, 6 drive gauge, and I have, like, 2.3 bars of super, I'll build enough super to do the level 3 at the end of it, whatever, by this. Like, that kind of just pure memorization of like, knowing the exact circumstances where a certain chunk of the health bar is just gone allows you to skip a lot of difficulty and uncertainty and, like, extensions of the match. And now, like, this is an instance where the only value that you get from even having your level 3 at this point is so that you can kill in a situation like this, where instead, now you're going to just do damage to him, and the next hit that you're going to do, it doesn't even, probably won't even matter. Like, your next 2 bars of super are going to go to waste, most likely, because what you're probably going to land as a strike next would have killed anyways without any super. There's a couple things that you could do that would still need super to kill, but in general, like, the only reason to hold on to super and not spend it literally every time you ever land an opportunity to do so is so that you can, is for these exact moments where you just have enough to kill in, like, this big fucking burst that skips like the bottom chunk of their health bar. So I think either, like, the choice is, one, like, getting better at that and recognizing, and it is super difficult. That is one of the inherent challenges of the game, obviously, is, like, actively knowing when the opponent is dead. Keeping all of the kill conditions in mind is, like, the most complex mental arithmetic you have to do in the game. But either doing that, or if you're accepting that you're not doing that as efficiently as you could be, then I think just using your supers more just for damage and just for, like, corner carry and whatever. Because, like, if I were to judge these matches based on how I measured the value of super, like I did in those videos where I was recording that instance, I would say, I'll actually have to pull up the fucking game for this. Please ignore all of my literal pornography that you may or may not have seen. Okay. Okay. This is just as a demonstration of, like, this concept. Load. Assholes. Alright, so we're going to skip ahead until supers are used. Alright, super used here. I think that's perfectly fair. I mean, you probably could have gotten the corner just with the drill anyways, but yeah, I mean, just using it when you can hit it, there's nothing wrong with that, certainly. So I would put that as, see, Jury versus Cammy, and this is how I would record it. Cammy, use level 1 in combo for extra damage and carry. Now the Oki situation that she gets off of the level 1, even if it's point blank in the corner, is not necessarily as lucrative. It's like plus 11 or so at that, plus 10 usually. But you're not quite in like point blank range. It's hard to say. There's other things that you can do with other knockdowns, etc., but whatever. Let's just say that it's just a slight advantage in the combo. It's a little bit more damage to her drive gauge, etc., from doing the level 1, and we get to spend it, whereas previously we had no opportunity to. There's obviously no point in having spent it in the first round since we won it. At least mathematically, it seems there's no point. So, totally reasonable. Like, immediately in round, and then point round. I record point round, meaning that this is the second round and you won the first round. So this is your match point, but you do not have to win this round, is how I record that. So hang on. Fuck, stop hitting. God damn it. This is easier on fucking YouTube. And then standing medium punch, okay. I know I already explained this, but like putting this in the context of one of your matches, I think will illustrate this idea actively and maybe give you some ideas of if you want to change anything about how you use supers in your matches. So, he did what? It was medium punch. So after the hit that gave him the level 3, which will forgive any slight relative increase from medium punch, crouch medium punch, medium upper. So forward throw, fireball on block, medium punch on block. Okay. Crouching medium punch on block, jumping heavy punch on block. Forward throw. And then block that and that. And let's just say, I know you haven't quite hit level 3 yet, but let's just say that's where you hit level 3. So let's reset your meter. Jumping light kick. Low forward. That whole thing. Okay. Oh, wait. What am I doing? No. Okay, so far he has wasted one super, one whole bar of super that he could have built if he wasn't already at level 3. And this is where you spent. So I'm going to then put it in Cammy use level 1 in combo for more damage and carry. Avoid surplus. Avoid surplus. That's what I just mean when a player uses a super because they're at level 3 and they don't want to be wasting it. Avoid surplus. Point. Standing medium kick. On block. And then crouching medium kick. And then the next thing doesn't matter because you killed off of it. So what super do you have up until that point? You could have killed with a level 3 combo on this. And because your next hit, which at this point is statistically, you're pretty likely a lot of rounds end at this point without you needing to use your supers to do so. So any super that you have at this point is probably going to be wasted. So in that instance, so I would come out with how much super did he lose? So he wasted 1 bar and you wasted... This is the surplus that you got during the period where you had your level 3 stocked up. So that in addition to what you were left with about... which was about like here. So Shuri dies with 3 bars plus 1 surplus. Cammy wins with 2.3 surplus plus, well, I would actually put that separately. I actually put, no, dies 3 bars, 1 surplus, Cammy hold level 3, 0.5 waste, and then Cammy wins with 2.5. So that's how I would write that. So that means that over the course of this, which was just you winning 2 rounds in a row, there was like almost 3 bars of super that you generated that did not contribute to your victory. And I think that, and there's only 2 solutions to that. It's either be incredibly ready for these scenarios where you know exactly that you can kill with your level 3 in these scenarios, and that way you would have won off of just this interaction and used all of your resources in doing so, which I think, or just use more supers at other points because you never know and will often find yourselves in situations where you have a surplus at the end of a round. Anyways, that's just what I observe. That's just how I measure these things. The jury wasted 4 bars, never used any super, and just died. 4 bars of super could have contributed to a lot. And then your game plan, that much super could have contributed to it, but didn't. And, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of ways that we can change our play based on that, but that is something to notice. And that happens in most of these matches. Not just yours, most players' matches. Anyone other than, like, Blanca or all the characters with really strong installs, this happens all the time.